Alright, today's video is going to be a little different. Something I normally don't do. Normally I do fishing videos, and I know I haven't gotten to posting in a while, but life's been a little hectic lately and with school and everything, so I haven't had too many chances to get out there. But today I'm going to do something a little different, and I realize a lot of people don't know how to do this, including me for a while. It took me a while to figure out how to actually do this. I'm going to show you how to rig up 2 nymphs for your Euro nymphing setup, or just your normal nymphing setup in general. And this is what I found to be the easiest and best way to do it. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to do this with a Euro nymphing setup. So first I have my cider material. So you have your normal Euro nymphing leader that goes to your cider material. And from your cider material, then that attaches to a small tippet ring, if that would focus. I think you know what I'm talking about. And then from the tippet ring, we have our tippet. I have on 6X right now. The only tippet that I use for Euro nymphing, the highest that I'll go is 5X, and then the lowest I'll go is 7X. It just depends what I'm fishing, but I never go higher than 5X. Or I guess lower than 5X. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to set up a double nymph rig. So I have about 4 feet, I'd say, of tippet right now. And here's how I would do it. So let me get some tippet here. So on the end of my 4 feet, say I'm going to fish water that's, I don't know, about 4 feet deep. I'll grab an extra, say, well, it all depends on how far away you want your point fly to be from your other fly. So I'm going to grab about 1.5 to 2 feet of tippet. And then on the end of my line, I'm going to tie a double surgeon knot, which is very easy knot to tie. All you need to do is just put the 2 pieces of line together like this, flatten them out, and then you make a loop, and you pass the side that would attach to your flies. You pass that side through, both the tag end and the normal line. You pass it through once, then you pinch it and grab it from the other side, or I like to use scissors or tweezers, and help pull it through. And then you just wet it and pull it tight, and then you can clip off your tag ends. I like to clip them off pretty close. Just make sure you have your knot tight before you do that. Okay, so now I have my 4 feet, and then I just added that extra 1 to 1.5 feet of tippet. And then on the end of that tippet, I am going to attach, if I could find my fly. Okay, here we go. I'm going to attach my point fly, so I'll just use an example fly. I'll just use a size 16 Waltz worm with a 3.3 bead. It's something I might use as my anchor fly. So I'm just going to normally tie that on. And I like the improved clench knot the best. It's just the easiest one for me, and it's just something I've always tied. So I just prefer that. I can do it fairly quick. Yeah. So now that I have my point fly on, here's where we tie the tag fly on, the extra fly. So this is the heavy fly. This is what's going to be on the bottom of the water. And then about a foot or a foot and a half above that is where I'm going to attach the other fly. And it's very simple, actually, how to do it. And this way that I found is the easiest way to do it. So I'm just going to show you. You start off with a perfection loop. So I'll just show you how to tie that perfection loop. It's a pretty easy knot to tie. You just make a loop. I like to do it. So this is my right hand. This is my left hand. I like to put right over the left for the loop. And then you get the tag is sticking out the left side. You're going to wrap it around and make sure it is in front, or it's on your side. Like, I just made this little loop here in front of it. I wrapped it around and it is on my side. And then you're going to get the tag and you're just going to put it between those two. You're just going to pinch it every time. So I just got that tag and I put it between those two knots, or between those two loops. Then you're going to go through your first loop and you're going to grab the second loop through that first loop. I don't know if you can see that, but I grabbed the first loop, or I grabbed the second loop through the first loop, and you're just going to pull that through and just pull on that loop. Don't pull on your tag in, just pull on that loop. And that is a perfection loop. And that will not, I got a little tangle here. That will not come undone. So you're just going to do that with an actual piece of tippet. So I'll get a piece of tippet here. I like to make it about 6 inches to 6 to 8 inches, I'd say, is normally, maybe like 4 to 8 inches, I'd say, is what I normally do it. I'm going to grab my piece of tippet, and I'm just going to tie that perfection loop again. So you make your loop, you wrap around it. It's a little harder with actual tippet than with what I was just using, cider material, but it's not a very hard knot. And then you grab the second loop, pass it through the first, and you can find better videos on the internet of how to tie a perfection loop. This is just how to put on the second fly. Okay, so I have that perfection loop, and I am going to snip off that little tag. All right, now that I have this piece of line with a perfection loop on the end, and I have my main line with the anchor fly, the point fly, and then I have about a foot to a foot and a half to this double surgeon knot right here. And this is basically going to stop your additional fly from sliding down to your bottom fly. So this will stop your top fly from sliding down. So you're going to get this line with the loop in it, and you're going to wrap it around your main line above that knot, and you're going to pass one end through the loop. So see, I passed that through the loop, and it is above that knot, and you're just going to pull it down, and then there you go. It won't go past that knot. It's right there. And this will spin freely. So this will spin around with the fly because of the way it's tied. And you can easily get it off if you just loosen this loop, you can just pull it right off. So then I would just tie my point fly onto this, which I'll just give you an example. I'll just use this caddis fly. I think it's a 2.3 bead, which doesn't really matter for these purposes. You use whatever weight you want. Okay. And then you tie whatever knot you like to attach your fly to your tippet. In my case, I like the improved clench knot, but you could use whatever you like, polymer knot. A lot of people like that. I never really tried it, but a lot of people do like that, as well as a couple other knots. Wetting your knot, and then cinch everything down. Pull your tags. And then snip your tag. Okay, and now we have a double nymph rig. So let me get this. Okay, so here's my main line. And then here we have that double surgeon knot, and we have that perfection loop that I looped around the line so that when it, so you can set it however you'd like, but when a fish grabs it and it gets tight, it's going to slide down and then it's going to stop right on that knot. It won't go past that knot. And it's very durable, and it spins around so you don't get tangles. And then that connects down to your bottom fly. So you have this top fly and then your bottom fly, and it makes it a lot easier to switch out flies from if you would just tie it like your top fly, tie the line to the hook, and then down to your bottom fly. You can do that, but this just makes it a lot easier to switch flies and a lot easier to switch to like a single fly, and it's just a lot easier in general. All right, well, I hope this helps. I know this is a very big help for me, and I know a lot of people in my real life have been asking me about this. They're always confused. How do I actually set up a 2-fly setup with, like, what's the easiest way? A lot of people know the technique where you tie your top fly, you tie line to the hook, and then you go to your bottom fly. But not a lot of people know this technique. So this should make it a lot easier for you. And hope you enjoy. Subscribe if this was helpful. And feel free to comment if you have any questions. And while you're at it, just give it a like. All right.